When we say voting have consequences, this is what we mean. This is what we mean. You see tonight, there's the second video for the day. I did a video this morning, I'll come back and do a video tonight. Because the people all over the country, people cussing, people outside protesting, they're ready to march. They calling Phillip, let me march, let me march. Election was weeks ago. And when only take only $500 and only jersey to vote for these skunks. Look what you're getting now. Here what I have to deal with. Hold your hand there, Iowa. Hold your hand, hold your hand. This is what I have to deal with, and I want you to hear it. You have to hear it. Good night, Mr. Alexander. The villagers of Woodland, along with other citizens, have reached breaking point. It may sound made up and unbelievable, but we on the side streets, especially the hilly areas, have been without pipe-borne water for 43 days and counting. That means in the election, while there was an election to vote, you had no water. This is the 11th of September. Let me just make sure. 12th. So you haven't had water for 43 days. 30 have passed. You didn't have water for 13 days and went and voted for Tanko, and went and voted for Kamala, and went and voted for Rowley, because Point 14 are highlighting two constituencies tonight. Point 14 in a riot, or a pooch west in a mess. We're going to deal with one UNC and one PNM. So when you see I say voting have consequences, and these skunks, these canal conks, these labas rats that passing for politicians in this country, but we're calling all of them out. I want them to tap it, knock it, crack it, and lock it, and shoot the drain pipe for Goodwood Gardens. Go and shoot the drain pipe, Gary, Kamala, tap it, knock it, crack it, rock it, and shoot it up, and see if it helps the water go away. I want you all to tap it, knock it, crack it, lock it, rock it in people's tank, and see if you could put water. What does Iowa say? We have not had water for 43 days and counting, but I am counting. 30 days have passed since the election. I think 28 days have passed since the election. You've not had water for 43. That means you didn't have water for about 12, 15 days, and you still vote for them. You vote for them. This is what voting has consequences mean. But don't worry, Phillip will ride to the rescue tonight again. Phillip will ride to the rescue. Stick up in Iowa. So, it feels like no one is coming to our assistance. Councillor, MP, no one. I personally reached out to them. When the water comes, its pressure is so low that even the people living in low-lying areas are challenged to store it. So it's definitely not reaching areas like Jackson Street, Nanku Trace, and Mungal Trace. Mr. Alexander, there are people that is eking out a living and are seeing trouble to provide meals for themselves. So their water bill has gone into arrears, and therefore they are exempt from receiving truck-borne water. I have 4,000 gallon storage, and my water went so low that I had just 1 day remaining. The request made for truck water 2 Sundays ago was eventually delivered Sunday gone. I got 1,200 gallons. So with my household of 4, I will stretch that for 14 days. My bill is paid until the end of October, mind you. On my way home this evening, I saw people that I didn't recognize at the recreation ground stooping down at the tap, filling 2-liter soft drink bottles. It's heartbreaking to see what it has come to. I cannot understand why we cannot get an adequate supply for at least 36 hours per week so we can store enough water to live a normal life. It has been weighing on my mind. Are we being discriminated against? The people want water. Tonight, we're going to sort that out. Me and Iowa. Why are we being discriminated? Why else can't we get water? In capital letters, look. Please help us. Phillip and the PEP will ride to your rescue tonight. I want Marvin Gonzalez's cell phone number. You all are very resourceful. My followers are the most resourceful people in the country. Network one to the other and get me Marvin Gonzalez's number. But first, I want to call a former MP. I want to see if she'll take my call. Because we fall out. She said, I support Kamla. I didn't support Kamla at all. Good evening, Miss Ramdial. Good evening, Miss Ramdial. She not taking the call because she knows she live. This is how they play. Don't worry. We're going for all. We're going at all. This is the consequences of politics. This is the representation that you pay for. The member of parliament for Orapuch West is Dave Tanku. Good night, Mr. Tanku.
Hello.
Good night, you hearing me?
I am.
Calling you on behalf of the people of Orapuch West who are reaching out to me begging for water that they haven't had for 43 days. And they say that they haven't been able to get in touch with their member of parliament or their councillor to get a reprieve. I just read...
That is very ironic. That is very ironic, since I have represented these very said individuals publicly by press release and press conference and in meetings, even meeting with regard to the Minister of Public Utilities very recently as well.
You met with the Minister of Public Utilities?
Communicated with WASA. Several of those very same persons from Woodland and Orapuch West generally have written to me with their request for water.
Mr. Tanku, there are people saying they haven't had water for 43 days.
I've also communicated with the Ministry of Local Government and the Pinal Daily and the Sipaya Regional Corporation for Water Trucking Services, so I'm not too sure whom you're referring to.
The villagers of Woodland...
Can you provide me with some names so I can follow?
I'm giving you. Good night, Mr. Alexander. The villagers of Woodland, along with other citizens, have reached breaking point. They called the names of the streets Jackson Street, Nanku Trace, and Mungal Trace. Mr. Alexander, there are people who have not had water for 43 days.
The councillor for that area has also written to WhatsApp, so like I said, I'm not too sure where you're getting your information from.
So they are going to bathe their children tonight.
I am not too sure where you're getting your information from.
I am getting my information from the residents.
The Member of Parliament and the councillor for those areas you just referenced,
I am calling the minister tonight.
To the PNM who is in government, to the minister who is in charge.
So the opposition has no role to play. The opposition to do nothing.
Can you give me names? I am very curious.
I just gave you streets. You don't need names. Let me not victimize anybody. I'm giving you the names of the streets.
No, hold on. This is a conversation. This is not you attacking me or me attacking you.
Brother,
I am suggesting to you that you are misinformed.
For me to reach,
I am not calling names of victimized people. I don't know where you get that from.
No, but you see, you asked me for names. The way you said it. The way you said it.
Relevant authorities. Yeah, I don't know that if people don't know, I want to advise them.
Mr. Tanku, even though this is my show, I am letting you talk more than me. But you have to let me talk a little bit
both the Ministry of Public Utilities, to WASA itself, and to the regional corporation.
So,
then clearly,
what is the outcome of that?
I don't know where you get your information from, that no approaches have been made.
But I'm getting that information from the citizens, from the burgesses, from the constituents, who are saying that they can't get representation 43 days without water. Yes, now, Mr. Tanku, just now. You can't cut me. 43 days without water. Yeah, listen.
Pursuing your own agenda. I am telling you.
This is not my own agenda. I am saying to you what the people have said to me.
Are you listening, or do you want to be the only person?
But you are the only one talking. I am trying to get a point in. I could wait for you to talk and come off, and then I could talk the rest of the night. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. If people reach to writing me, and I am not in government or opposition.
Who is this, by the way?
Who is speaking to you? Or who is writing to me? My name is Philip Edward Alexander.
Mr. Alexander, Mr. Alexander, just for clarification, based on what you have just said, I explained, and I will explain again, that I have already made approaches to the relevant authorities. Several of those persons are aware of those things. Persons from those very streets, because they reached out to me. Persons from those very streets are aware of the communication that went from myself to the KNM minister in charge of public utilities.
So he is aware that they have not had water for 42 days?
To create the impression, while I'm correcting you, that nothing has been done is very disingenuous on your part. I'm surprised that
your words not going to help anybody. I want to ask you a question. Is the minister aware that these people have not had water for 43 days?
The minister would have been aware because he commented on the press conference held last week and the two other press conferences I held from Oropouche West the week before. He was very well aware because he made public utterances to those responses. He made public utterances stating that, the MPs were looking clean, laughing and saying it was a comedy fest. The minister and the ministry and WASA are very, very aware of the crisis in Oropouche West.
So I want to ask you a question.
Aware of it.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. I take your word that you've been in touch, that you've written them, that you've been in conversation.
The Guardian newspapers, the Express newspapers, and
you're cutting me again, eh? I listen to you, and then you cut me. So I ask you a question again. I'm going to ask you a question again. I take it that the Guardian, the media, CNC, everybody covered that you did speak to the minister, you've written them, and you've told them that the people of Nanku Trace and Jackson Street have not had water for 43 days. Am I correct?
You're very correct.
So they are aware, the minister is aware that these people have not had water for 43 days.
The minister is aware that the vast majority of South and Central Trinidad and Tobago, and specifically I have represented...
So what is the next step?
Like I said, in 3 press conferences...
What is the next step after the writing of the letters and the talking and the calling? The people want water. What's the next step?
The next step, my friend, is that people have to make the demands to the minister. So
your constituents have to bypass you and go to WASA themselves.
That are required to be done, but I really would not want to speak on the phone with regards to some of those things that are required to be done.
But tonight, people are in crisis for no water. Mr. Tanku, do you have water?
Do you know? No, I don't. But are you aware that I called a meeting? You see, you are operating on pieces of information.
That's all I could do, but I called you. I didn't say a bad word yet. Just now, don't say that, because I didn't say a bad word about you yet. I called you on behalf of your... Just now, no, but you just cut again, and you said... Carry on.
Can you allow me a few minutes, please?
Carry on.
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I called for a meeting with WASA officials and representatives from Oropouche West. An hour and a half before the meeting was scheduled to start, WASA chickened out. I held a press conference. I issued press releases. On that very same day, I met with hundreds of persons who had come out to attend that meeting. And from then to now, I have been pushing to try to get officials to respond. They have been jittering and jabbering and talking. I've also been trying to get residents to get involved. But residents will prefer to comment away from the public eye because everybody is afraid of victimization and discrimination.
But they're not paid to do this. They're paying their water rates. They're paying their water bill. But Mr. Tanko, they have an MP, they have a councillor, they're paying their water bill to WASA. They're relying on you because you are their representative in the parliament. You are their representative.
Phillip,
you see, again you cut me. You see, I sit down and I let you talk, and when it's my time to talk, you cut in me. I'm not saying that you're not doing your job. What I'm saying is at this point, you and I, what I call big man thing, we have to decide, is there anything that the opposition can do when the people have not had water for 43 days? Because if the opposition can do nothing, I could get involved. And I could go and see how I could fix it. I'm dealing with a PNM constituency after they said, my people down on the ground in Point Fortin, 24 hours now. And I am going to deal with Point Fortin as well after this. Orapooch West and Point Fortin are in crisis. 43 days without water. That is the purpose of the call. What is being done to address this crisis to these people beyond politics, beyond writing letters, beyond press conferences? How are you, the opposition, prepared to help your people who voted for you get water?
Philip, what is required is public upheaval. What is required is the public to dramatically express their discontent and displeasure. That is not happening.
So you're saying that the only thing left for the people to do...
The very same people who are telling you they're reaching out to the MP and they cannot get in touch with them, and their council and cannot get in touch with them, are misinformed. They are misinforming you.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that they are not without water, you know. I am saying that persons who are complaining to you don't seem to know what is going on around them, but they are busy speaking as if they are aware.
The people of Jackson Street, Nanko Trace and Mungo Trace have written to me pleading for help. Mr. Tanko, I am going there tomorrow if I have to buy water to take for people. People want water. 43 days without water is a crisis. Do you agree with that?
I think you have missed, Philip, with the best of intentions. I think you have missed the activism that has taken place in the last 3 months, at least directly with regard to the immediate shutdown, and for the last 7 years. Me, directly for the last 3 years, trying to get answers from Massa, trying to get...
You know what I would like to get answer for? Why would a country...
talking about
No, why would a country that have a rain... Why would a country that have a rainforest climate that gets 1,000 times the water that we could ever use falling from the sky for free? Why do we spend $1 billion a year on desalinated water when that same money could be building retention ponds and dams and storage so that people could get water? Why is that?
But you're asking the wrong person, Philip.
But the UNC is responsible for desalcot. It's UNC that gave the country desalcot, not so.
With a plan for Orapooch West with retention dams.
But I'm saying to you that you are a senior member of the political party that when it was in government twice chose to go with desalination.
Following the demands from my office, there's in fact a meeting tomorrow at the school. There's a meeting tomorrow in which WASA is going to present some plans that they claim to have. Some plans that it's been on my page last week. Some plans that they claim to have for treating with it. I believe this week, coming here, they are going to launch a well that they refurbished in Plateau.
What is your position tonight that I have called you on behalf of these people that they don't have water? What is the immediate step tonight? Parents are suffering with their children. What I just asked you.
To my constituency. I think you are trying to play a little mind game with this thing right now, and I'm not.
I am playing a mind game. I am playing a mind game.
I am sorry. You are misinformed and you are taking the word of someone.
So I am going to call the residents. The residents are going to come on this show.
Specific things. I asked you for specific things because
I cannot give you their names, but they are going to be on this show tonight talking.
You don't know about what has happened or what is happening, and I take that maybe you don't.
Mr. Tanko, I'm telling you that 43 days is a lot of time.
Who wrote you is also not aware and are willing to make them.
They are aware that they have no water. Mr. Tanko, this is not about games. You're trying to deflect from the story, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that.
I really don't think that this conversation is doing any positive.
I have no doubt that's where you want to go. That's where I have no doubt that's where you want to go. That's where you want to go. At the end of the day, you and I could have joined. We could have find common ground. All right, brother.
I am not interested in this word game.
Well, all right, then have a
people that are just lives.
So you're telling me that the people who wrote me that they have no water for 43 days are lying?
Where you get that from, brother?
Did you not just say that? You said people playing games.
Rewind what you just said and get the truth.
But it's here on a live video. The public listening to you and me.
Wait, no, can you listen?
Sure.
You are making accusations against me saying that people are lying.
What did you just say? Didn't you just say that?
When you decide to be a man and come with solutions and so on, instead of trying to play word games with me, Phillip.
Yes, brother, let's deflect. Let's deflect. You all are getting paid for this. You are getting paid to do this job. I am calling you as a private citizen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Simply choose to play word games and
I am playing word games. You are the member of parliament, sir. You are home comfortable tonight, and people are messaging that they have no water. But it's all right, brother. Have a good night. Have a good night. They're going to privatize WASA. They're playing a game with y'all. They're going to do WASA what they do Petrotrin. This is the game that the government playing and the opposition sitting down there thinking that they know what's going on. Tanku and Kamla and the rest of them feel that they understand the game of chess. That the PNM playing, the PNM financiers come for WASA. They come for WASA. They want WASA. 1.4 million people must have water. So if you have the billable utility of WASA, you're going to be happy financially. And the UNC play the same game. When the UNC was in office, instead of building the retention ponds and the dams, the Tanku just tell me that he advocating for, Pandey and Kamla built the Salcott, and Kamla extended the contract for the next 35 years. We desalinating seawater while we throwing away 100,000 times the volume that the Salcott could produce from the hills into the sea every single year. Give me a freaking break. Man say I come out to play games. I want to go about my business. I have to come in your constituency to sort out water for you. And you tell me I playing games? People writing me and messaging me. Mr. Khan, good night. You hearing me?
Yeah, I hear you.
What's going on in Point Fortin tonight?
The problem is that the residents down here have not had water on a regular basis for the last 6 years or so. That is in the Sidra Carcass area. So yesterday, last night, to be exact, the residents would have called me sometime around the hour of 8 or so. I reached down there around the hour of 11 or so. For the election period, we did do several walkabouts and campaigns in that area because residents in the Carcass area would have not been getting water for years. We did go down there and do some protests, and there was some relief. But with the incoming dry season, that problem has been exacerbated. So the problem that the residents are saying is that WASA has now given out a fresh contract to a guy with a water truck in the area who has PNM ties. And that guy has or seems to know where the valves are in terms of letting the water pressure drop so he can supply water.
recently WASA has made a move to curb that because other residents in the area, because of that situation, have been trying to supply their friends or family with water at $100 a tank. And they normally take that water from a standpipe, which over the weekend WASA made moves to try and disconnect. Yesterday evening I got calls from Ms. Shelley, Mr. Lemesy, Ms. Vidya, if I would come and highlight the situation because they did call their councillor for the area, Shankar Tilak Singh, who would have campaigned for this local government election. I understand that he would have only won the PEP at that election campaign because he actually paid people for their votes $500 a vote plus a hamper. So last night when I went down there, the villagers said that they called him. He didn't respond, but they were very adamant that I came. I did go down there and highlight the issues. They had children in vans, they had moms, they had dads, they had grannies, they had grandpas, they had uncles, expressing their concern that they have to buy water because they haven't been getting water for months or years on end. They have to beg the fire truck or they have to pay a friend who have a truck, who have a van with a tank on it. Yesterday I met a guy, last night I met a guy, 11 o'clock in the night, and he was asking me if they cut off the water as yet. I told him no. He said because he just came from work, it's 11 o'clock in the night, and his wife told him that the tank is empty, so he was going to call a friend to go down there to connect the tank to that truck to get some water for his home. And that is the situation, as I said, we've been having down here. I went down there, there were children in the back of vans. I asked the moms, so what's going on with those children? Are they not going to school tomorrow? Women were in tears, they were ashamed. One woman said that washing and that the community of Sidras is a fishing village, as you would understand. Water is a requirement because, you know, when you're doing fishing, that scent and that kind of thing. A lot of the villagers run fishing processing plants and that kind of thing. It's a very, very, you know, disheartening feeling to see people in this kind of condition, you know, people who are on the brink of tears. And I asked them, I said, how do you feel that, you know, as citizens, people come to you, would have come to you within the last month asking for your vote. And now, not a month after, you know, you can't get water in your tap. And they were very sad, you know. But this is the situation. It wasn't you know, there were Negro people there, Indian people there, you know, and everybody liked to play the
when you have no water, brother, you have no rain. Race don't come and take when your tank empty, right? Brother. I need to ask you to stand.
Sad about what was taking place. They were very heartened at the fact that I would have come out at hour the night. But at the end of the day, that's what the Empowerment Party, this is what we are about. We are about building communities. We are about moving the country in a new and bright and a more productive area. We are about making that change. And that is one of the things that would have drawn me to the party. One of the things that would have lead me to this point in coming here tonight.
My brother.
They would have told me that they would have seen us.
My brother.
Various places, Superior, when they didn't have a fire truck, or Penal, when they would have been flooded out. And they asked me, you know, why we go, why we pursue. And I tell them it's for the betterment of the country, you know, because we believe that this could be a better
I want you to stand with the people. I want you to stand with your people in Point 14. I'm going to call the MP. I'm going to call you back. The last MP I spoke to just now, Dave Tanko, the MP for Puch West, he tell me he have no dig deep down into the spectre that is the politics and the lack of representation in this country, you know. So we're going to deal with this. I am coming down there with you Sunday. Set that up. You know what we need to plan? A national march for water. I'm going to talk to you about that when I see you later. All right? Stand by. Aywa. asking for the cell phone number for the Minister of Public Utilities, Marvin Gonzalez. It is time now. This has to end. I am going to prove to Trinidad and Tobago that we never had a water problem. What we have is a water mismanagement crisis. I'm going to prove that to you all. Somebody get me Marvin Gonzalez number. Shalom Khan, I need some information from you. WhatsApp it to me, please. I need that information. I am trying to dial a number for the member of Point Fortin, Mr. Kennedy Richards. We're not getting through. Sheldon, check that number for me, please. I'm not getting through on this number that I have. I want verification at 7757314 is Kennedy Richards' number. I'm not getting through on that number. I am getting a number for a person at the Regulatory Industry Commission who is supposed to be helpful. And I want that number because I want to use it to help people. But I want the government, I want the parliament to work. When Kangaloo stand up in the address for the new parliament and say, "Though land-based parliamentarians, I sure Kangaloo under your arms not smelling stink tonight. I saw your toilets not clog up tonight, Kangaloo. I saw your whole family, your extended family, the entire family, Garcia and Kangaloo family, that's sucking at the national teat. I saw that every single one of them, every household have water tonight." So when you say, "Though land-based parliamentarians," I want you to hear me, Kangaloo, that you've been eating of taxpayers for your whole adult life, and it is a sickness, it is a crime that you could say that to people in a country that tonight don't even have water, a basic amenity in a country that break off the Amazon. We come out the Orinoco spit us out. The rain that falls here drowns a part of this country every year. Not one of these people have shown a concern or a care. And the UNC, when they got into office, instead of fixing the problem, went and monetized the problem for themselves. Go and check the beneficial shareholders of the desalination companies in this country. Go and check who benefits when the bills pay. Go and ask Kamala why she extended the Salcott's contract 35 years. PNM is the problem, but the UNC is not the solution. When Dave Tanku told me tonight, all this little double step, deflect, distract, I kept asking him, what is the next step? What is the next step for you? You are the member of parliament for these people. What's the next step? He said public upheaval. So who you getting paid for, Tanko? You getting paid to sit down home and play politics with PNM and tell the people, if all you want water, engage in public upheaval. That is the sum total of the representation that people are getting from the UNC. That's what the opposition job is. The government has failed. And this is why the opposition can't succeed. And this is why it is so difficult to deal with these people. Because they don't have a plan. They don't have a clue. The UNC is the PNM in a yellow shirt. They don't have a clue. They don't have a care. If I was the member of parliament, I mean, I am a normal private citizen, but I am tempted to go down Orapuch West on Point 14 tonight and solve the problem. Because if I go down Orapuch West and the people come out, water will find its way into them taps. But why can't Tanku go and mobilize his people? Why must Tanku sit down home in his clean socks and tell people, oh, you go and make couture for your water? So what's the point? What's the point? Well, they don't come on this video and talk to me about hospital, car park and thing. Eh? Don't do that tonight. We're dealing with one thing tonight. Just imagine. I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago something. Eh? If you continue to play that you want representation, but you're not prepared to stand up, nothing will change. And if you continue to sell your vote every time my election come along, or to vote race every time my election come along, nothing gonna change. Trust me on that. We spend $1 billion desalinating water every year. A retention pond is a hole in the ground. Now you could buy massive 3-story tanks, 5-story tanks, water tanks that could go in the ground and hold 10 million gallons of water. And those things could be prefabricated and installed all throughout the country. And there would never be a water shortage again. The reason we have no water is that the PNM is trying to sell WASA. And until WASA sell, UNC is trying to make contracts with WASA so that UNC people could eat food, big food, even when they're not in government. The 80% of the people who did not vote have water problems. 20% who did have water problems too. And voting has consequences. Tonight, all of those politicians have numbers for water truck people that if they need water, they just call. But they don't need to need, because the WASA valve man in the area making sure that they have water, and a phone call is all it takes. How come they don't have water? They get water. To the average person who voting for that, voting yourself royalty. People ask me to post people numbers. I'm trying to get through to Kennedy. You all could call this number and see if this is really Kennedy number, because I know if he blocked me. 775-7314. That's the number that I have. Member of Parliament for Point 14. I want Marvin Gonzalez number. Again, our next number for... That's the same number I have. So, it's obvious. Mr. Man. Yeah, he blocked me. Satish, I need somebody to make a call on that number. The truth of the matter is, it's not going to change like this. So, I'm going to convene my team and ask my shadow MPs who I am meeting on Saturday if they're willing to organize a national march for water. And we'll get an answer. This cannot be how this country is run. And this cannot be allowed to continue. The $100 million salary that the parliamentarians get, taxpayers pay that. Hard-working people, hard-working everyday people are the ones paying that bill. And they deserve representation for all that taxation. So I want you to understand this. We can fix this country. The Progressive Empowerment Party has demonstrated to you our unwillingness to deal with the contract mafia, our unwillingness to deal with lying, deceitful, recycled politicians. We've demonstrated solutions, we've demonstrated stick-to-itiveness, we've demonstrated a willingness to come out our house and stand with you and work with you. 30 days away from an election when we were rejected by some of these people who are messaging me in tears tonight. The only way forward is for the people of this country to love this country more than they love their party. The only way forward is for the people of this country to love this country more than to be selfish on election day and take $500 and $1,000 on a jersey. Because that don't last. And when that run out and sufferation reach, the people who gave you that money, they don't have you to study. I tell you, all the members of parliament tonight have water. All. All the ministers have water. All. The cruise-in bill, all of them eating lobster and drinking fine wine tonight. Hard-working, suffering taxpayers who could barely keep the lights on, paying that bill. We are at a critical impasse as a country. You being conned into believing that Africans don't like Indians or Indians don't like Africans has destroyed this country. Nowhere else in the world, Africans and Indians have a beef. Nowhere else in the world, Africans and Indians have a conflict. Only in this postage stamp dot in the sea. Only here have you been foolish enough to accept a conflict instead of representation. It's time to change that. It is time to unclench your fists. It is time to stand up and stand together. The Progressive Empowerment Party has been selling the idea of one people under one flag. That's what we propose. All of us, together, one people under one flag, regardless of who is in any office of state. Serve us, the taxpayers, or we will fire you. Collectively, one people under one flag. You see, until the masses become one people under one flag, things like the contract mafia will ride your back to billionaire status. These people are literally sucking you dry. Writing laws, creating taxes, increasing the cost of living so that you could pay for them to have the lives that they have. Tonight, there are people in Orapuch West who have not had water for 43 days. There are people in other constituencies, Point 14, and others that have written us and called us and begged for us to come and represent them. So we will come, but you have to come out. You have to come out. It is time. It is time for people to march for water. It is time. Yeah? So, if you're interested in standing up for yourselves and your children, when you watch your home tonight, with all your clothes dirty and all your dishes dirty and all your toilets clog up and all those empty bottles and buckets staring at you and you wondering where to go next. What I heard tonight are people who cannot pay a WASA bill for water that they more than a year have been cut off of being allowed to get a truck-bound supply. So that means they have paid for empty pipes until they run out of money. And now WASA cut them off. This is unacceptable. Water is an essential commodity. We need to treat our people better. And a Progressive Empowerment Party government would put WASA to work, where industry and commerce would pay the bill, the cost to operate WASA, and residential customers could get their water for free. Because the water falls on the country for free. And to treat the water is sense, it's cheap, it is nothing. It's why Blue Waters and all these companies mad manufacturing bottled water. It is the cheapest, easiest, simplest thing to do. And these people killing money while people suffer. We've created sufferation so that people could get rich, and that has to stop. But you have to want it. I don't know what else we could do to show to you that we represent you. Tonight I spoke to a member of parliament who is unwilling to come out of his comfort zone for you. He spoke to the minister, he called a press conference, he spoke to Guardian. But he's not out in Orapuch West tonight. He's not in Nanko Trace and Jackson Street. He's not there with you. He's not burning up the phone lines trying to get water trucks to come. He's not organizing his UNC partners to say, you know what? Let me rent a dump truck. I'm sure we can get a dump truck from one of our contractors. Let me put a tank on the back with a pump, a little $2,000 half horsepower pump. and let me go by the hydrants and fill the water like the washer trucks doing and go to everybody's house round the clock and drop water. Let us work to make sure people get water, because the opposition is paid. They are paid a hefty salary. So why aren't they? Why is Tanku not outside there with a flashlight in his hand, rubber boots on a phone, and working like we working? Why not? Why isn't Kennedy Richards on the ground in Point 40? These press conferences and these conversations with the minister are not enough. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. You are not being represented. And you have to face that fact. Because we are not going to change anything until we unite as one people. And the Progressive Empowerment Party stands ready to unite all the people of this country and fix it. So we're standing by. Tomorrow, we are going to follow up this. We have a leadership meeting tomorrow, and we will add this water crisis to the agenda and call the people of Trinidad and Tobago out so that they could call their government and the opposition to account. We can't continue to play political games while people suffer. We need to fix this. Yeah? Stay safe, Trinidad.